Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of The Wrath of Ken, USA. Brought to you by Twitter. Twitter, letting people say F you to Trump and Clinton supporters in 140 characters or less. Twitter. If you can't do it, you may as well be on Facebook. Now, before we get started in this week's edition of The Wrath of Ken, also known as There's Really Nothing Good on TV Yet, I thought I would explain to you why I look the way I look. So by all means, save yourself the trouble of sending me packets of razors. What I'm doing is I'm trying to grow out my beard to see what it looks like. Several years ago when I was in the Navy, I tried growing a beard, and I ended up looking like a cross between Yasser Arafat and Festus from Gunsmoke. It wasn't a very good look, and incidentally, both of them are dead. This time around, I think I'm going to try to see what it looks like. So I'm going to try to adopt a Robert E. Lee flair. Come to think of it, he's also dead. Well, as you can probably guess from the title, we're going to talk a little bit tonight about bathrooms. And I don't mean bathroom etiquette. I think that concept has been overblown, no pun intended. A lot of people know. Just as a recap, just the salient points. What guy out there does not know that if you have 3 empty urinals, you never use the center one? You do not make eye contact. You do not make small talk. And you certainly don't gaze. And you know what I mean. If you have 3 stalls that are empty, you never use the center one. If necessary, use the handicap stall. Just a word of advice, though, if you have to use the handicap stall, you should limp or something like that so people don't think you're some sort of an elitist a-hole when you come out. I don't think we need to talk about people like this inconsiderate a-hole. Or what's going on here, which is either inconsiderate or kind of creepy. Or you can just hang out with the fellas. Instead, what I'm going to talk about tonight is what happens after you're done doing your business and you go to wash your hands. You do wash, don't you? Anyways, just so you know, the pictures I use were pretty much stock internet pictures because there's no way I'm taking a cell phone camera into a bathroom. Can you imagine that? Someone walks in, I'm taking a picture of a hand dryer. I don't think anybody's going to buy my story that it's all for my blog or for the internet. I'll end up in jail, sure as shooting. Now, first I want to talk about the water faucets themselves. Now, there's a whole bunch of different water faucets out there, different brands, different models. The ones I'm talking about, the ones that are designed to prevent people from fooling around and leaving the water on, so wasting a whole bunch of water. These are the things that you push down on a knob and the water, after a fashion, will cut off. But sometimes these things are so sensitive that you push them, as soon as you let go, boom, the water's off. And then what you got to do, you got to maybe wash one hand. You hold it to hold it down, and you get a wash hand, and you let it off. And then you got to switch your hands, or you got to take your elbow, and you got to do that. The thing just drives me crazy. And sometimes it makes me not want to wash my hands, which I always wash my hands. But sometimes it makes me not want to do it. These are the type I'm talking about. I hate those things. And then, once you're done washing, presuming you can get those stupid things to work, you go to turn to the paper towel dispenser, and there's no papers in the paper towel dispenser. So what do? You look around, and you see one of those air dryers that are hanging on the walls, accelerators, or the ones that are about as effective as an old man breathing his last over your hands. Those are terrible. I get so impatient with those things that I rub my hands a little bit, and then my hands are still moist, and then I don't want to go outside because let's say if someone asks you to shake their hands, they see you come out of the bathroom, you just shook your hands, you always gotta say, whoa, that's water, that's not pee, I didn't pee on my hands. So then you got to decide you got to wash your hands. So a lot of people will go ahead and wipe their hands on their pants just to dry them off. But what I'll do sometimes is I'll go ahead and wipe them in my armpits so I don't have like wet spots on my pants, because who wants wet spots on their pants after all? But the good thing about the armpits is because if there's a little bit of moisture under your armpits, they think that you might be just like a sweaty pig or something. Or another good point is if you rub your hands in your armpit, they could smell like a nice deodorant smell, which is actually kind of cool. Or they can smell like BO, which means you got some real problems with personal hygiene there, pal. Okay, these are the accelerator ones I'm talking about. Good Lord, they'll blow the skin right off your hands. All right, this was one of the crappy ones I was talking about. Notice that this guy got so frustrated he went with number 4, wipe hands on pants. All right, this one is one of the new fancy ones called the Airblade. I really don't trust them, especially since I saw one guy humping one on the Merritt Parkway. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Remember, if you do like this, you have mental problems. But if you do like it, go ahead and share it to your friends or the people that aren't your friends, which is actually much more appropriate. Or actually, if you do like it, you should subscribe to this and it will come to your mailbox every week free of charge. And remember, as always, to buy American, especially American toilet paper. Don't settle for any European knockoffs because, as tough as they talk, European toilet paper don't take crap off no one. And also remember that if you buy toilet paper, to buy the double ply. Never get single ply. If you get single ply, you could run the risk of giving yourself a prostate exam, which could be problematic if you're a lady.